Today we're going to do a series of videos for Google Classroom. You have 5 tasks that you have to do in Google Classroom. Each one of these is going to be a separate video. This one here is the introduction to Google Classroom and the home page. When you first log on, you're going to go to classroom.google.com. If it's your first time logging in, it's going to bring you to a Blackboard looking page, and then you're going to use the plus sign to set up your first class. If you've already set up a class in Google Classroom, every time you log on, it's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. Now, these are all the classes that you have tiled as both a teacher and a student. Now, you can see that for the ones that I have here, I'm a teacher. For these ones, I'm a student. Now, these were set up as training classrooms. Along the top, you have what's called a hamburger. If you click on that, it'll show all of the classrooms that you have. And then in settings, you can have different account settings. The biggest one here is send email notifications. If it's something that, this might be something that you would want to check off so that every time a student in your class submits something, you don't get an email notification. For example, if you had 30 kids in a class, every time a student submitted, one of those students submitted an assignment, you would get an email notification. So instead of clogging up your email, you might want to turn that off. So whether you have the Blackboard looking page or you have this home screen, really the first thing that you're going to want to do is click the plus sign. And you can see that it gives two options, join a class and create a class. For us as teachers, we're going to hit create a class, and it's going to tell us what we're going to do. And I'm going to call this cohort 3. It's a good idea to set up sections if you teach multiple sections of the same course. That way it can be identified differently. When it comes time, you can copy assignments from class to class or section to section. So it's a good idea to break them up ahead of time. So I'm going to call this section 1. And I'm going to click create. This is our classroom page, and we have the option to change this background. But just looking at it, you can see that Google Classroom really does two things. It posts announcements and it posts assignments. Everything in Classroom is connected to your Google Drive, and that's something that we're going to talk about in the upcoming videos. But the biggest thing for right now is this class code. This class code is what you will share with your students. When your students log on, they will not have the option to create a class, only to join a class. And in order to join a class, they will need this code. The other option for students to join a class is for you to set up your students. And if you have a class list, for example, in Google Mail, you set up a classroom list, you can use that. Again, we have the hamburger on top, which will allow us to click between classrooms if we wanted to. And I'm going to go back to cohort 3 because that's the one I'm working on. And that's the gist of logging into Google Classroom. Again, when you're back on your home screen, whether it's this looking screen with the tiled classes or it's the Blackboard because it's the first time that you've logged in, you're going to want to hit the plus sign, create a class, and enter your class name. Now the students are going to have this exact same looking screen for their home screen, and it's going to be every single class that they have that they're students of. So it's really great for for the students when they log in, and they can see all upcoming assignments or that any new announcements were posted.